to all worshippers everywhere. I've got some stories to tell, and I'm hoping that I will be able to do it in a series of musical parables to begin with. Yeah, this is the 2nd of January. Last night I had my credit card pinched by the Bank of Scotland when I tried to get some money out. So, we're visiting the theme of the great God Jehovah, and the concepts that are shared by the Monty Python's team. And let's get you that now. Okay, so the other theme for this video today is the word Russell, and the founders of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and how dangerous it is. Those are the Jehovah's Witnesses usually who come and monitor every video I make, with the cleaning the windows team. No one around today. Maybe it's not the Sabbath, it's actually Saturday the 2nd of January. And the videos I've got are parables, and they are clues in a way to what I want you to see. So let me find the next one. So that's Ali G in Dog with a Bed, in Dog in the Bed, and then there's this one.
Oh, Tupac, no! Whatever.
That's a Hanukah helicopter just on his pillow there, and the dog is very akin to these dogs. So this is another parable.
We didn't put the killer instinct there, though. We merely enhanced the inner wolf. And that inner wolf still lurks there today. Down on a farm on a wet afternoon in Kent, you can see what I mean. Hi. I've come to meet Farmer Andy Crow, who's invited Johnny's.
And that's the legend of man behaving badly. He's a joker on the BBC.
Stoll and his 3 Jack Russells to deal with a little infestation problem.
Hello, who's this? That's Mitch. Scruffy. Scruffy for obvious reasons. And Stan.
Lovely. So ratting. How much ratting sort of still goes? Is there a confederation of ratters and newsletter or?
Well, I haven't heard of a newsletter.
Oh, right.
Sure, it goes on
all over the
country. Basically, if you've got rats, nobody wants them.
Sure.
Like in this situation here, you've got nothing to feed, and they lost half the feed to rats.
No, half of it.
Half of that pallet full of feed has gone to rats.
Wow.
So it's.
But it's perfectly legal, and it's not
So
yeah. Do you think as people collect the different pets together, perhaps there's some clash of interest?
Now you need to watch everything that happens here. They're incredibly quick and efficient. Like the rest of the Russells. in leading people into that preparation of your soul for beyond the grave. Okay? All of it is a massive religious fraud, and this is the new church of Jehovah, yeah, launched just in time for the world wars.
Jack Russell might use a hamster or a pet rat, don't you, all the time?
Oh yeah, this one, my daughter's gerbil. Yeah.
How embarrassing.
He's living in harmony in the house until he got out the cage. My gerbil. But no, they can't, it's just inbred.
No, and training is going to stop that.
I thought so, it's just a nature of the dog. And I mean, little furry, they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
Right, hand on, stand here.
Come on, yeah, let's do it.
I'll get the machine.
Alright, you do that.
Come on, stand here somewhere out the way.
As each hay bale is removed, the rats begin to panic and the dogs go into action.
Fast and furious, wasn't it? I got scared.
So, same jokes as the Pied Piper of Hamelin and men behaving badly. Yeah, all of it is the story of mankind and the story of religion. Okay, and the Russell group are the leaders of the university sector that I am now defaming as thieves from their own students. Okay, the Russell word is the founding of Jehovah's Witnesses. And let me take you to some other things. Okay, this series of parables, this is the place name for the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and it is a massive joke against the world's worshippers. Okay, God planted a garden at Aden to the east and placed there the man that were behaving badly in the course of time, and he had created a river flows out of Aden, spelt subtly differently to all of the stories I've told you already, and the author is a name that is famous in the world's elites, yeah, and in all of those warmongering Brunswick stories I've told you about Lord Beaverbrook and about Hitler's launch of his campaign from the Christian church pulpit in Brunswick in Germany. Okay, and we've been into the Innsbruck no room at the inn Jesus stories as well. Okay, a river flows out of Aden to water the garden, and from there it separates and becomes four heads. The name of one is the Pishon, the Sally Magnuson joke, the Nile, Rashi, which goes all around the land of the Chavs, men behaving badly joke, yeah, right into the naughties, yeah, in all of the BBC comedies, the Chavs jokes, where gold is found, the gold of that land is good, there is found the Badulak and the Shohan stone. The identity of these precious stones is uncertain. The name of the second river is the Gishon, which goes around all of the land of Cush. Yeah, that's the Cush story about my grandpa, the shepherd, yeah, on the Balfour's farm. Yeah, that's Harriet's field, yeah, and the Cush word that you use to make your sheep and cows move forward like the human worshippers. The name of third river is the Tigris. Okay, the tiger by the tail joke, yeah, which was the oil joke for the Esso Petrol Company when I was a boy, and an altar boy in this massive scam. Okay, which flows east of Assyria in modern Iraq. That is Armageddon, yeah, where Tony Blair and Gordon Brown took us. Okay, the next river is the Euphrates. Yeah, and I think that's the Po for a laugh. Yeah, which you keep under your bed. And there in the beautiful Garden of Aden that was created before, you know, right at the start of biological time, when only man was on the world and the women could not be sinful. For a laugh, that's the icon of what they have between their legs and round in the other port of entry round the back. And all of it is the same jokes. And there is the NOAA company for the scanning company that runs Google Maps until I expose it. That's NOAA, US Department of Geography. And there is TAIZE, which is the joke about TAZE Russell, the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses, which I've now learned are in the 13 Mafia families that are fucking legends. Yeah, I just sent myself an email. I could show you the title for the email, but it's quite scary. Okay, so the 13 Mafia families, all of them run protection rackets. They think nothing about killing. Yeah, so that is the Astor bloodline. Let's see if I can get that zoomed in a bit. So, I found this yesterday and I've had to defer other issues to get the news out because it was quite spooky and quite sinister. So, the 13 Mafia families associated with the name Illuminati, which turns everybody off, even the folk that were not drunk at all in the pubs last night. I had a very sober conversation with them. They're very relieved that I am off the hook on the sectioning threat. I'm not off the hook at all. Everything I say in these videos is really dangerous for my safety, and I'll explain that to you later. Okay, so that's the Astor bloodline, the Bundy bloodline, the Collins bloodline, which maybe explains why Lou Collins, when I began to expose the prostitution activities of Commoner Kate, was unable to comment, and she joined me on Facebook just in time to be unable to comment on any of the analysis that I have made on not our kingdom, the news vent that was there. So Lou Collins, the legendary, she's got a new job now. Yeah, she's no longer an investigative journalist with I keep forgetting the name of it. Yeah, it's in the Commoner Kate, coerce your way into the kingdom as a prostitute at Killing Kittens, and all of the methods that Killing Kittens use and the links to the Freemasonry and the assassination bureaus is not at all funny. That's how Princess Diana ended up, yeah, dead in the shallow grave. That comes into a lot of these stories, even about what happens beyond death and how they bury the body parts for the executed people. Okay, Du-Pont, that takes you into Pharma, yeah, where I used to work, and there's Pharma links to the local Jehovah's, and I'm going to show you it later on. I keep telling the people to look at the videos of my old bosses in Pharma who are now on the Forbes rich list, and the likenesses are totally uncanny. The Freeman bloodline, okay, the Kennedy bloodline. So the Kennedys, Joseph Kennedy was a bootlegger with the Bromsteins before Kennedy moved into power, and the infidelity in their marriages, yeah, and the links to the Onassis bloodline for these same elite families. It explains Jackie Onassis' smile at Kennedy's funeral. Yeah, all of them are totally ruthless. They're prepared to kill their own relatives, and all of it is backed up by the religious mythology that I'm going to show you. That is the launch of Christopher Lee into Hollywood, the Lie bloodline, yeah, and that is the Leiden links to Belgium and the Pilgrim Fathers, which is in the story too. I missed the music for that in the parables, sung by the now dead Eva Cassidy. Yeah, because she makes jokes about the Jewish angel Molly, and she makes jokes about the Pilgrim Fathers too, and the ship they called the Mayflower, where these people are on board, indirectly linked this time to TAIZE Russell through the Belgian rooster jokes, the Brewsters, who were on the Mayflower and the other ships that sailed immediately into the Christian religion's culling of all of the American Indians, and the ownership of the whole world being taken over by these dynasties. Okay, so let's get to the bottom. That one stunned me. The Reynoldses have just moved in 2 doors down, right next door to the to the fisherman who used to be my colleague on the river and who works for the Harrises, right next door to the Rothschilds, who are mentioned further down. Okay, so the Reynoldses are a relatively unknown. I will make future videos on what they do to the free world. The Rockefellers you've heard of, yeah, the Rothschilds you've heard of, the Russells, yeah, are the people that were the headmasters at Kelso High School and are the leaders of the Russell Group and are the Bloomsbury set that launched the drug craze on the world, and the whole thing is totally evil. And the Van Dynes are the Dick Van Dyke jokes about all of the banking frauds in the Mary Poppins movies. Okay, and just with the dropping of a little letter, you've got a hilarious joke. Yeah, the Nixons are in the story, and the whole of the American democracy and the YMCA, it's the same fucking joke. Okay, it's gone kinda dark outside. Let me share with you again the Jehovah's joke. You're now beginning to understand it. So what have we got here? And there's the Tazer joke. I'll let that one warm up now. No, Jehovah's first, to take you right back to everything that the Monty Pythons understand about this. Okay, sorry, that is my email. Russell and Jehovah, stoned dead, right between the eyes. Good morning, O great Jehovah. So that's the thing that I've just emailed to myself. And there is the series of parables. I could play you the Eva thing. Look up the American behaviours for, let's take you back and just play a little stanza or two. So that's the same joke about the dogs and the greyhounds chasing after all of the rats, and the rats are all over the story. That is written by the Grimm brothers in the Göttingen area in Germany, also immune from bombing like Oxford, okay, and Cambridge. And all of it, all of those revered institutions are murderous, warmongering, genocidal, false religion events. And at least the rain has stopped. I hope all of you got through Black Wednesday. The storms all across the world now have been absolutely spooky. Okay, and so there's the guide me, oh thou great Jehovah, which becomes the icon for the Welsh male voice choir. And here's Eva Cassidy. Can you see the cynicism? That's government-sponsored crimes and genocides by Christianity all over America. This woman died at the age of 33, like Alexander the Great and Jesus. Jesus in inverted commas. The air balloon joke for Lily Allen. Yeah, died at 33. All of her music has been taken down since I showed you the linkages to the Metatron and the 6 corners for the Jewish angels and all of their names, including Dark-Eyed Molly. You get the picture. She died really young, and she's singing about the launch of American Christianity. Yeah, it becomes the Mormons, it becomes all sorts of new denominations with all sorts of new rules, and all over the place they cull the Indians who worship the sun god, and the icons of the sun with the 2 wings for the American Indians become the icons for the people that become the 13 Mafia families and the Russells and all of the new religion that is Jehovah's Witnesses and all of its sinister connotations about the murderous people that run it. I have not been invited to the local Kaylee. Yeah. Right. So, there you are. The links to the Mayflower, they're proud of it. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that now. So the Tazer thing, do you understand that? That's the copper joke. On every copper's lapel they've got, in to keep the citizens in place, the police with the word polis having the word PISO in it. Yeah, none of them were on duty last night. It's Scotland's most drunken night. There was not a policeman anywhere in the streets of Kelso, and I went after my credit card had been stolen to the police station to report it. And I used the emergency number, option number 3, and they claimed that they had taken a case registration for that. Okay, not a policeman anywhere in sight. So this is Falmouth, quite near to Plymouth, but it's not that one. It's already the YMCA, and they've got them all over their belts, and they practice so that they can keep the innocent people of the world, yeah, absolutely banged up all of the time. Okay, Falmouth police Tazer demonstration. Okay.
Remember I told you the perfect shot was what do we say with the probes to go? The best, anybody? For $1 million you trip the MASONS, where do we want it?
Above and below the waist.
Very good, very good. Somebody's going to yeah. You guys, this is the facility I'm asking you guys. You can go ahead and take pictures, but just please stand over this way here a little bit, move that chair out of the way.
So, did I show you in the map why this is the nomenclature for the polis with the word PISO in it? There it is. Taze in the Garden of Aden, which is the Garden of Eden, with the Pishon running right next door, all the way down. Yeah, and that's the jokes about Dad's army and Butcher Jones being in the conflicts at Khartoum. Butcher Jones is in the jokes about the damming of the American rivers and the killing of the American Indians. And on the lapel in the Dad's army team, they have the initials CP, Calpurnius Piso, the man, the most influential fraudster in religious history. Okay? And all of it takes you into war again and again and again. And there's all the jokes and all the places that we've mentioned in the recent flood zones. Okay? Yeah, and that is the same Google map, because these are the Mafia families that run the world. Okay? Let me now show you the launch of the Absolute Truth by the Monty Python's team, and all the gender bias that is in it. And each time you see something pertinent which you've learned already, I will stop the video and give you an overrun of that. Okay, so this is the joke about the Arian. Yeah? So Arian master race, all of the Göttingen jokes, all of the rats out of the Piper of Hamelin. Yeah? And that becomes parts of Falkirk, and I do not want to explain that any further because it's totally sick, but it is the Arian joke. Every night Brian the Snail comes out before the BBC light entertainment news diversions. Yeah? And Zebedee bounces into the story, and he's the brother of one of the biblical authors. Very rare appearances in the Bible fraud written by the Arians that are Arius Calpurnius Piso. That's the CP on the shoulders of Dad's army in the World War II genocide jokes. This is the religious joke, all of it explained all of the time by the Pythons. Okay, so that's taking it up to big screen size. There is John Cleese, the Basel faulty joker, and Basel is the central bank in Switzerland. Right then, prepare for the lecture. That's the sun god that I respect so much and has overseen the elements and the massive rainstorms that we are now having all over the world.
Why aren't women allowed to go to service, Mum? It's written, that's why. Beard, madam.
So, you buy your beard, you take the real Jesus, the donkey, the ass in the story, yeah, who has no tail, because it's on all of the conscripted war dead, yeah, the donkey's ears and the donkey's tails, ever since Pinocchio was written, yeah, with the mammal being the belly of the whale, and you buy your stones or your gravel, yeah, so that you can become a religious bigot and have fun on the Sabbath or every day of the week in Holy Week or whichever denomination you want. And you've got several mums in the Mormon church that was launched in the American joke, yeah, as a direct result of TAIZE Russell's relatives moving out there with the Pilgrim Fathers just a few months after the 30 Years' War had been sparked, Christian against Christian, all over Europe. They run for cover with the guns and they start culling the Indians all over America. That's the 500 nations joke. 6 nations if you're a rugby player.
Oh look, I haven't got time to got an old stone in. He's not well again.
Stones up.
No, they got them up there, lying around on the ground.
Oh, not like these, sir. Look at this. Feel the quality of that. It's craftsmanship stuff.
Oh, well, I've got 2 points and a big flat one.
Rather flat one, Mum. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, all right, 2 points, 2 flats and a packet of gravel.
Packet of gravel. Should be a good one this afternoon.
Eh?
Local boy.
Oh, good.
Enjoy yourself.
Okay. Do you get the picture? That's the merchandising joke. Everything has to be bought. Even in the sporting world now, you need new gizmos for every tournament they launch. Soccer and rugby, you need a tea to take the kicks now. All of it run by Marks and Spencers, and I forgot John Lewis. They were protesting heavily after I made the last video without mentioning their names. All Zionist organisations. So, you need to buy the beard as a woman so you can participate in the bigotry and the persecution. I was not stoned, but I've had sausage rolls thrown at me by people who are very close to me and my family, and I like them, and they have revolutionary tendencies which I intend to expose in the next few videos that I make.
Oh. Yes.
Yes.
You have been found guilty by the elders of the town of uttering the name of our Lord, and so as a blasphemer, you are to be stoned to death.
Look, I had a lovely supper, and all I said to my wife was that piece of hallibut was good enough for Jehovah.
Blasphemy! He said it again! Did you hear him?
So, the women not allowed to join in. Yeah, until the Bishop of Dibley comes along, or the Vicar of Dibley comes along, and then all of it becomes commonplace, and everyone changes the rules, and now everything is about divide and conquer, and all of the political correctness that has consumed all of our world. But if you are a poor person, or if you're a good person, or you're trying to change things for the better, you still become the victim of scams like this. I don't know what's happened to the Jehovah's today. The monitoring team is completely AWOL. No window cleaners or any presence. Yeah, and the people that I talk to, and the people that are the most earnest and give me the deepest lectures, are also the Hutchisons, yeah, that are the body doubles for Bill Clinton, yeah, and the people that played for Hearts, and that's the Hutchisons that are directly into the bloodlines for the American presidency when the YMCA went across there and they became really powerful. Yeah, and they're my neighbours and they're my lovers, and in some of my New Year binges I was very much targeting them. They work for the Borders Council, registered in Dubai. The Borders College, and all of it is a series of institutional educational frauds that now steal from their pupils, yet the families that are the parents of those pupils, and unless you're really high up the chain, nobody makes a profit from any of it. And all of the stuff they are given is a pack of lies, like the Bible story.
Are any women here today? Very well. By virtue of the authority vested in me. Oh, Leo, we haven't started yet. Come on. Who's through that? Who's through that stone? Come on. Sorry, we've started. Go to the back. Oh, dear. Always one, isn't there? Now, where were we?
Look, I don't think it ought to be blasphemy. Just say Jehovah.
You're making it worse for yourself.
Making it worse? How could it be worse? Jehovah, Jehovah.
Warning you, if you say Jehovah once more, right, who threw that? Come on, who threw that? Was it you? Yes. Right, we did say Jehovah. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah.
So, today we're profiling the newest religion that we have, or one of the new ones, yeah, launched out of America, the American Bible Society. I forget the acronym and the initials. Okay, and some of the pictures that precede that on my website. Let's get the story told and we'll come back to my website and see the pictures above and below the garden of fucking Aden. Yeah, where the BP plant was bombed by Harold Wilson with the pipe in his hand. Yet the icon for the Labour Party that play the tune which is the icon for the red flag and the Christmas tree and the Queen's speech. Yeah, all of it is a massive set of frauds. Yeah, and Ma's rib is somewhere up here. Yeah, that's Ma's rib that launches the woman into the biblical story taken from the abdomen of the man. Sorry, the thorax maybe. Right then. So, we've seen the tasers, and I think that's everything on there. And I'm not sure what that one was. Don't think we've got anything on that one. So do you get it? That tasers, did we get round to showing you what happens when you target the man with the taser?
Something, but I don't want you to line fire with the probes. Okay. But you see how we're holding this one is? We're not going to be affected by this at all.
Sir, stop resisting. I'm going to tase you, sir. Stop resisting.
Enough. In the psychiatry sector, where the Russells are in the psychiatry people, I forget the name of that Russell. Let's get on with the story now. Yeah, that's on the 13 Mafia families. So I was listing them for you. Let's continue. So the Astors, the Bundys, Lou Collins and her friends. Yeah, the Du-Pont Pharma magnates, the Freemans. Never looked at them yet. I've got a lot of research to do. You can all look it up for yourself. They're quite proud of this. It's on a thing called Bibliothèque Capel Yades, and that's where I learned about Princess Margaret's sexual activities with the two black men at the same time, which is why I brought Ali G in. The whole lot of it is a series of shallow covers, and the whole of the Masonic religions is the same, and these are the mafias that run the protection rackets and all wars and the killing of the decent people in the families, yeah, or the revengeful people in the families, which is the new slant on Princess Di, who used to visit the havens with Tony Blair and drink with all of the people that are in these elite bloodlines and are play the Doctor Who roles. Okay, so that's the Lee bloodline that is all the Chinese martial arts, and the martial story is really about the real villains that are the Pisos, and you know that all through the stories I tell now. So the Onassis, yeah, Jackie O's second husband, yeah, the Reynolds, my new neighbours, right next door to the Harris's employers, yeah, and right across the street from the people that are the Wraiths from Cambridge. And all of that is just a coincidence. And there's the Rockefellers that you've heard about. Yeah. And Tom Hanks is a Rockefeller. There's the Rothschilds that you've heard about, all wars, all sides, and there's the Russells that run Jehovah's. Yeah, and all of it, yeah, all of it is absolutely squirming around because it's riddled with evil, and the people that run it, yeah, are often from Scotland, and all those big cities that we've talked about, even the local branch, all of them are from the same places, the slaving centres, and all of them are just slaves to the world owners. But some of them are probably the world owners, and some of them are dead ringers for those in Pharma that were my bosses, and I'm going to show you the images of them later on. Oh, I think that may have been the video that's been taken down. It was just a blank. We can see if we can find it. Okay, so the Van Dykes, I've done you all of that. So Bibliothek Apel Jedes, yeah, and you can get the rest of it from there. Okay, so let's tell you the story, and then I'll play you the little video clip of the lookalike who's on the Forbes rich list, who used to be my boss at Pharma, yeah, and he's on the Debrett's listings too. Okay, comes, his body double comes to the church, and every time I see him limping, I mention him in the videos. This time I'm going to show you the video that he makes about profiteering and he's in the fishing club, and I taught him all he knows, like many of the other people. Yeah, and they're my sister's neighbours too, and they did not last long when they tried to professionalise the fishing club. Horrible, horrible cancers. Yeah, and all of it happens right in front of their noses, and none of them see the risks of continuing with their evil policy making. Right then, so let's go to the top and start there. Okay, so the TAIZE Russell bloodline, and there's the links. There's Calpurnius Piso on Dad's army's shoulder. There's the links to the relatives of the Russells, who were the Brewsters, that's the B Roosters, who went with the Pilgrim Fathers, and those links to the Dad's army jokes about the culling of the in Butcher Jones's park. That's a national park in America with one of FDR's massive dams in it. Yeah, there's Eva Cassidy, and all of those songs that she sang have now been taken down. Yeah, and you see why. All of it is linked to the accusation that the terrorists from Islam, which is in the Armageddon region, yeah, same joke, all over world history. Every one of the conflicts is a joke about profiteering and a joke about religion at the same time. Yeah, and sometimes it's the Christians that get killed, sometimes it's the Jews, oft times now it's the Islamic people. All of the stories were written by the Pisos, which is why they have CP or KP in the icons for it. That's Kenyan products, and all of the same sick jokes. So let's learn more about the Russells of Scotland. Yeah, at Kelso High School, when I first went there, the headmaster was Mr. Russell. Okay, and then we get the Burns Club man, and then we get the woman who's Miss Mackay of the Jean Brodie jokes, and the whole world is a vaudeville so that their sins and their relentless crimes against the people and the innocent worshippers can be covered up. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have done that because I've got images alongside it. Okay, so last year in January, let's make it a bit bigger, and I can just show you the images as we scan down. Last year in January 1993, I wrote an article about the Illuminati and the Watch Tower Society. Recently on December 10th, Tex Mars interviewed me over international shortwave radio about the Watch Tower and the Masons. Yeah, I've explained to you the menace of the Masons. Yeah, and they don't bother to come to church, the male members, but they send the wives there because they worry a lot about everybody that gets the cancers. Lee Waters of Bethel headquarters kept the file on his computer of Jehovah's Witnesses who were reported to be victims of satanic ritual abuse. Okay? In fact, 2 Jehovah's who had actually been in the Illuminati while Jehovah's Witnesses but had broken free confronted the governing body and headquarters with their evidence of the Illuminati that's those 13 families I've just shown you, operating within the membership of the Jehovah's Witnesses. What was the response of the WF leaders? To simply ignore and cover up the evidence. The actions of the governing body in squelching any serious action against witnesses shows that Be Wise, a serpent's book, revealed, which is that very secret high-level Satanism that has long been controlling the Watchtower Society. Okay, I'll just do the highlighted segments for you. The Illuminati who use the Watchtower Society as a cover, we find a continuation of the same pattern as I noticed before. There is a large contingent of Scottish and a large Jewish bloodline. For instance, one J.W. Jehovah's Witness Illuminati family was the Udell family, Scottish name, who married Picketson. Yeah, that's got the word pie in it. Yeah, and it's the same story all over every globalized religious launch. Yeah, Picketson Milliken, English maiden name with Jewish first husband. Okay, the Enochian alphabet is known and used as the cult language by those Illuminati operating in the high levels of the Watchtower Society. In other words, their ceremonies are done in this ritual Enochian language, and it's run, and there's Sir William Sinclair, that's the Sinclairs of Scotland. Yeah, she's in the court all of the time. I've asked her, can she take on my case? Yeah, all of them know my power. None of them fear, yeah, what they're trying to do to me, and that God will eventually intervene. Both the Russell and Rutherford families, yes, the Rutherfords that I so much respect, yeah, and the Russells that we were obligated to bow down to, and you were allowed to cane children in that era. And they did. And Bert Smith, yeah, the Bertie jokes, yeah, was the most ruthless with the cane that I know. That's the Bertie jokes that they still use in the King's Speech joke about World War II. Yeah, so the Russell and Rutherford families came from Scotland, as well as Macmillan and many other key early Watchtower leaders. Knowing the Watchtowers is a key to the Enochian magic. Do you recognise the links between that and the keep towers that I told you about in the Walter Scott Dukes of Buccleuch story? Yeah, all of them are strung all over the Borders region, so that if you light the beacon there, you can proclaim that we need to kill some innocent people tonight because they're onto what we do to them. Yeah, and that is the world owners who have come out of Europe and then have gone into Ireland, and that is explained further down. Okay, there is the icon. So it will be in the wrong place though, because I've changed the size of the text, but that is the ancient Egyptian winged sun symbol. Okay, do you see it? And that is the ancient Egyptian joke that everything that is Christianity, yeah, that's the Christians. So the Jehovah's are now at war with the Church of Rome, and they're in lawsuits with them because they get persecuted in Italy. Yeah, and everybody is at war for profit, even in peacetime. Yeah, that's wars in the courts, and you should see the numbers of Russells that are in law enforcement. Yeah, no surprise. That's why I get sectioned and I get persecuted for every truth that I reveal. But none of them have the courage to show up today. Maybe because they saw me preparing their colleague on the Forbes rich list, I'm going to dob on him. Okay, yeah, I've had enough hypocrisy. Okay, so that's the Donnelly family, Chris family, Donnelly family, Irish bloodline. Carol's JW Overseer in Miami. Yeah, that's Jehovah's in Miami, where in the Godfather film, Herman Roth prevails. Okay, Prince George McKee, Monroeville, yeah, the Marilyn Monroe linkage too. A.L. Mellors, the Myers of the spying jokes that Madonna shares with the whole world. Mike Myers, the spy who shagged me. Everything now is a trivial diversion for what used to be mass murders and satanic rituals. They do not have the courage to do that now, although in America that may still be in place. Sharon Russell, lefty Illuminati, still a Jehovah's Witness, worked with the police showing ritual sites. Okay, and there's a joke about one of them having the word rum in his name, and that is the joke about drinking rum up in the men only rituals in Hawick, where the German princes were fighting, yeah, in inverted commas. They were sitting out the war, yeah, in the massive homes that they had in London, as we fought against the Germans, that led by Kaiser Bill in World War I, who was the head of the British Navy right up to the declaration of World War I. The rank and file Jehovah's Witnesses have no awareness that the WT Society, I can't remember what that is, has a secret upper level involvement. Okay? I identified this upper level in my chart, explaining how religions are controlled by Satanism. Okay, a boatload of generational satanic Jehovah's Witness went to the Bahamas, believed to be Andros Islands, and had a ritual at a high place. This was in 1958. Okay, and my wife was born that year, and she used to tell me horrible stories about how Jehovah's Witnesses had to pay a huge bung from their salary, a certain percentage, to retain membership of the movement. That's all been removed now, and our world has become a lot more innocent. And as I kept explaining to the people in the pubs last night, we're only a tiny step from civilization now. Yeah, but not if this is allowed to continue and all of the lies are allowed to be perpetrated. Okay, so the Watchtower Society, who is able to explain how the WE Society is interlocked with a lot of major corporations. Yeah, you'll see some of that further down, like the Clinton Foundation, and they're locked into the illegitimate bloodlines that are the mafias and the royalty in Europe, and they are the actual owners of the Illuminati in America still. That's the Queen who makes the speech. Yeah, and I watched it yesterday, and it is even more pathetic. Okay, so the FBI links to the Caseys and Casey at the dentist and all of the gramophone records that my family used to live on in the impoverished farm where my grandpa used to say the word cush to his sheep. Yeah, and the Masons understand it for all of that time. Canadian citizens who have tried to find out why the Watchtower Society in Canada is allowed to evade taxes have been stonewalled by government officials, and that's the word McGregor. Yeah, the Scottish linkages all over it. One of the strangest things for this author was to continue running into evidence that seems to indicate that Charles TAIZE Russell, the man who started the Jehovah's Witnesses Watchtower Society, was secretly an important Satanist. Lest the reader devalue the evidence, permit this author to state that the evidence came in first before I came up with my theory that Russell was an important Satanist and not vice versa. Some of the outstanding clues are C.T. Russell was definitely a Mason. Yeah, you'll see further down that he's linked also to the people that were on the Mayflower. Yet he puts up some great smoke screens in his writing concerning his membership. In my previous book, The Watch Tower, and they're in a building called the Bethel Snaff, or the complex or the estate called Bethel. Yeah, and the Masons, I studied 35 parallel beliefs that Russell had with Masonry. It's the stitch up that runs all wars, runs all marriages, runs all of our local communities. Yeah, interlocking with the other religions, other denominations, and now at war with all of them. The Jehovah's will not attend the churches together meetings. They have no Christmas celebrations. Yeah, and all of them, yeah, they are body doubles for all of the things that I've told you about. Yeah, the Murdoch family, they're out of Belgium, where the bee rooster comes from. Okay, that's the Brewsters on the Mayflower, and in the team at I forget the rugby team that had the Brewster brothers that were rugby internationals for Scotland. Okay, Stuart's Melville. And that's the Melba jokes and all the roll-ups into the comedies about the whole of the Commonwealth being owned by false monarchs and false religions. Yeah, and it's tragic. But the rain has stopped temporarily. Okay, Russell had many other identical ideas to what the Masonic lodges propagate. That's Arthur and Bunty. Including healing, handkerchiefs, phrenology. Yeah, the handkerchief jokes, the winged sun disk, Enochian magical planes. That's the Egyptian mythology that drives along Joseph into the Pharaoh's bloodline and then becomes Joseph into Bethlehem, like Bethel, and all of it is the same story and the same jokes. And this was launched in the 19th century, 2,000 years before they were printing those coins on the with the Piso family on them. Okay, so Russell's apparent secret Rosicrucian membership with the Quaker towns. Yeah, the Quaker is the man who gave me the call, yeah, from London, who I used to fish with every weekend in New Zealand, and I've been to the Quaker services and they are really sinister. Yeah, and that man, you know, the whole lot of them scam each other. That my mate John in his name is Highton, like some of the towns around our region, and he was scammed out of his fortune by the aristocracy in Moorbottle, and the name of that town is a telling thing. Yeah, everything is about conflict, organised for profit through all of human history. And there they had a problem with the dragon in the lake. In these jokes, that is the Python thing, which is the snake that snakes its way up the doctor's Hippocratic oath. And those are the doctors that are in these secret societies and have the word polis in their CV. That's the word Piso in their CV. As revealed by the pyramid he ordered erected, his use of the winged sun disk. Yeah, the sun god is the real god, and that's the biggest joke of all for these sad bastards. Russell owned the cemetery in Pittsburgh. Leading Satanists tried to own cemeteries, and my neighbour, who's an undertaker, has just walked by. For several reasons. First, it facilitates the disposal of human sacrifices, which are buried in pieces below the fresh holes dug for someone else's burial. When the casket is placed in the hole, it would be rare for anyone to dig below the casket level ever again. Second, magic power is associated with ceremonies. The spiritual power of the dead is pulled up by making a circle of light over them, and then within the circle a naked Satanist lays. Yeah, same jokes about the Masons and your inauguration rites that mean that everybody's got pictures of what you look like. Yeah, and that can be shared to persecute you and to get you into the asylum unless you are physically and mentally strong. Okay, like really, really physically and mentally strong, like some people that live in this house. Okay. Third, Specific bones are such as the skulls and left hands. Yeah, this is the fly right, yeah, turn right and keep right joke. Even the RAF in America still use that. Left hands are preserved in order to hold candles for certain ceremonies. Yeah? And that's the further down we see the references to the Rothschilds and the shrubberies that they get, you know, beyond the grave. The modern Watchtower Society is working with the New World Order. This implies that at some point the society began cooperating with the New World Order. Russell seems the likeliest starting point. Understanding Charles Taze Russell. Not very subtle, are they? As with all occult organisations, a veil of secrecy is maintained by requiring initiates to take secret oaths on penalty of death. As in witchcraft, Masonry repeatedly demands secrecy oaths at every new level on penalty of mayhem and violent death. Okay, confidential interviews with ex-Satanists. Dr. A.L. Carlyle with a Black Prince, recorded in Stratford. Yeah, Shakespeare's constituency, and Zahawi, the profiteer, in Iraq's constituency. This god, the god of the world, is Lucifer, aka Satan, Santa, Venus, etc. And that is the goddess that I loved, who lives in Winchester. Yet the woman Bowker, her music is the Venus music. And one of the names for the devil in Scotland, in the translations there, is Graham. I will go no further there. Okay, spaced every 28 is a feast of the beast, a year-long holiday during which Satanists receive new instructions from Satan on how to carry out the plan. Okay, all of it run in secret societies, under dresses, which is why I want to get to the Cayley. I do not fear the local Jehovah's. Yeah, it is tragic that they're all mind controlled like this, and that they're prepared to come at all of those things. Yeah, and some of them, they talk to me all of the time. No conscience. Yeah, just the same rants and the same stuff that their parents taught them. Very intensive teaching methods. Wow, the dance of death needs prosthetic limbs for the socialist cause, yet some of them pretend to be socialists, and that is further down. And that's the Eyes Wide Shut movie that I watched the other night about the coercion and the death threats. And if you're innocent, like the people that are the prostitutes in the Eyes Wide Shut movie, yeah, and you learn some secrets, or you try and help an innocent person like me, then you will be topped. Yeah, and that's where Commoner Kate came from. So the people that launched her are even more dangerous than the real monarchy. Okay, so when the power crushed and arrested their competitors in drug running, they would be hailed. So this is the Onassis linkage that we've told you about. The introduction of drugs into society does several things. It taxes the Christian church's ability to oppose immorality. It gets the public indignant about drugs. So this is the FDR linkage to the Pilgrim Fathers too. Yeah, all of the royals, yeah, all of those elite families in this 13 groupings. And the persistent coughing fits are explained in the Devil's Advocate movie. In fact, the beguiled public demands laws which abolish their rights, and applauds these laws in ignorance, unknowing what the laws actually say and mean. If the public somehow gets a complete picture that their government has been smuggling drugs to create a drug war in spite of the controlled media, or perhaps through the media at the right time, then they can create a scandal involving several US presidents to eliminate the US government and switch the public's allegiances to a world government. See chapter 3.9 for more details, and all of this is the Protocols of Zion. As an ex-Mason who is very aware, see chapter 3.9 for more details and a chronology of the secretly planned escalation of today's designed drug war. As an ex-Mason who is very aware of their plans said to this author, these people are in it for the long term. Then we get on to the bloodline. Okay, and there are vibes on kneecappings that I've been getting for the last week. Yeah, and all of that fractious behaviours between the religious rivals, Catholic versus Protestant, they bring in rituals like that and they use them all of the time. Okay, the bloodline of the Russells. Okay, so the links between the various famous Russells, yeah, and the genealogical work that this man has been doing, like me. One item that has popped up consistently is that people with the surname Russell repeatedly appear as important figures in the various elements of the world order as it has developed. It's Hutchison going by. Okay, and that compels one to believe the elite is more compact than appears. More on that later. So this is a reference to Richard Branson's mission, and that is the drug laundering further up. The Russell family appears to have moved from Germany to Scotland and from Scotland to Northern Ireland. In the 1820s, Alexander G. Russell went to New York City and then into Orange County. Yeah, the sectarian joke again. New York. He could write first-hand how good it was. When the potato famine hit during the 1820s, the Russells did not have the roots to Ireland that the original Irish had, and the rest of the family moved to America, except for Fanny's husband, Alexander Harper, who stayed behind in the Donegal, estranged from his wife. The family tree looked like this. Okay, so the Russells that's the links to the Kelso High School headmaster, yeah, before the Burns Club man took it over. That's the person with the links who used to play for Kelso Rugby Club, and with the links to Malawi, and sending his daughter into the system there where nothing ever changes. And the false news people use the Ebola outbreaks and the Bilharzia outbreaks like the one who's the Pharma man in Jehovah's. Yet his name when he was a Pharma man was Trevor Jones. Look up Trevor Jones on YouTube if I don't have the time to do it for you. Professor Trevor Jones. Yeah, hit the link and you'll see that he's tied into. They've taken down all of his director numbers at Edinburgh Pharmaceuticals Limited, and all of those companies have been subsidiarised all over Europe. That's the body double that goes to the Jehovah's. I will not reveal his body double name. Not had many fish last year. Okay, let's comment about the Russells. Russells who founded fraternal societies. William Huntingdon Russell, skull and bones warmongering people that Greg Hallett told us all about. Links to the universities are massive. Yet John Russell, founder of the Fraternity of Daughters of Isabella in May 1897 in New Haven, Connecticut, where the Pilgrim Fathers landed. Charles Taze Russell, Knights Templar Mason of the York Rite. You remember that York has been underwater all of the last fortnight, and founder of the Watchtower Society. Okay, and Pennsylvania. Harvey D. Russell, that's the Harvey with the rabbit's ears joke about all of the pukas through all of world history and all of the secret connotations to that, with the word pie in the county name, the Pittsburgh name, Brad Pitt, and all of it is the same joke, and they come out of Beaver Valley because they can bring the wood down. Okay, and the Mason is part owner of the Pony Express, yeah, with the horseshoe joke and the Piso horse all through it. George William Russell, 1869 to 1935, leading member of the Dublin Theosophist Lodge, wrote art for the Theosophy periodical, False Religion, all the way. William Butler Yeats. James Russell, president of the Royal Society of Edinburgh. Yeah, I'll have to have a look on the Speculative Society listings. You can do it for yourself on my website if you want to be a little bit adventurous. Yeah. I don't know whether or not they still do those satanic burials, but I'll ask my neighbour when I go first footing. Okay, President of the Royal Society of Edinburgh, that's the Royal Society. Yeah, all of it run out of Kensington Palace. KP for the initials. Was associated with the esoteric groups like the Masons. Okay, Archibald D. Russell, 1811 to 1871, a Presbyterian Mason who graduated from the University of Edinburgh, yeah, where Gordon Brown was the Chancellor for a long time. He studied at the University of Bonn, Germany, and was active in setting up the organizations in the United States, like the rocket scientists and the nuclear physicists that delivered the project into Japan to end World War II. One of the greatest ever triumphs. All the same team. Benjamin Russell. All of the links to Israel, yeah, and the journalists, yeah, early American journalists, yeah, the whole of it is consumed by the massive fraud. And here's a York Rite and Freemasonic Shriner, Charles H. Russell, Governor of Nevada. That's where the Godfather lived, in Nevada, yeah, in the gated community, yeah, and that is Las fucking Vegas, yeah, where all of the innocent women that could free the world are actually trained by the Kabbalah, the Judaism link to this massive world-owning cabal, the Mafia. J. Stuart Russell, Deputy Chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank in Chicago. Okay, Lee Russell, Lieutenant Governor of Missouri. Yeah. Lewis A. Russell, Mason organist for South Park. That's the South Park TV program. Presbyterian Church, Newark, New Jersey. Richard B. Russell, Mason, Judge, Editor, Business Executive, and religious icon. Mason and Governor of Georgia. This is Richard B. Russell Jr., Masoner and Governor of Georgia, 1931 to 33, and Senator from Georgia since 33. Before going to our next section, would be worthwhile to cover the family of that Bertrand Russell came from. They hold the titles of the Dukes of Bedford, who my wife worked for, yeah, in that era when she was working on British standards. Do you get it? Yeah, this is, and that's presumably where my wife learned about the Jehovah's funding base. Yeah, that's the Dukes of Bedford. Many of them die young too. They run the Woburn Golf Club, and that is where Mark Calcavecchia, the Calcavecchias are connected to the bloodlines for Madonna. Yeah, yeah, she's the woman whose sound system failed her in Glasgow on her Speed of Light tour, and that is that, I forget what the name of her family was, but they link into the fortunes of the Borders fame. Yeah, and all of the people I've known all of my life, and they're quite close to my Canadian relatives, and my aunties and uncles who were Freemasons and understood all of the Cush and Pishon jokes. Right then, so there's just another one of those names, the Bundy lineage, and all of it is really sinister. Bertrand Russell was part of the Bloomsbury set that are all involved in the drug running and the drugs craze, and they launch the pop bands like the Rolling Stones, which is the joke about the tomb for Jesus. Okay, here's another Frodo joke. This is Ordo W. Russell, served in Lord Palmerston's office from 1850 to 52. He served as unofficial ambassador for Great Britain to the Vatican. Yeah, so that's the Frodo. French Bishop Odo joke several times over. Yeah, his son Baron Ampthill, yeah, right close to where the Rothschilds and the Harrises and the McElraths employers live, yeah, was Grand Master of the English Masons 1908 to 1935, yeah, like the Duke of Kent, who runs the tennis tournaments and all of those massive things out of Kensington Palace with the initials KP. He joined the English equivalent of the Knights of Malta, that is the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, and served as the Grand Master of the lodge formed at the Bank of fucking England. Yeah, that is the issuance of money for our country, and the Waterloo ABBA joke, and ABBA is the Father God in the Piso fraud, who's totally now written out of the story until those weather storms hit us. And the wind was howling again last night, yeah, when I had my credit card defrauded by the massive banks that are run by all of these families. He was appointed head of the Indian Masons of Madras, India, home of the Theosophical Society. Russell's son also served in high political positions. And last night I had some fabulous discussions with people from Romania and from India. And the Indian people, when I complimented them for their innocence, thought I was talking in racist terms to them. When I last saw them, they were absolutely unable to own themselves, absolutely blind drunk. In the Queen's Head pub, about the revolutionary joke about Scottish people being able to rise up against the tyrants that totally own them through all of human history. And the Scottish ones in this story are really clever comparatively. Okay, so Russell's connected to the group that tie back to the Illuminati. Okay, and the Bloomsbury set druggists. So all of these, because I upped the size of the scale of the text, so there's the International Bible Society of America, now called Jehovah's Witnesses. All of those massive changes in nomenclature and their leadership team, because this man, I believe, predicted that the end of the world was going to be in 1914, or in one of those great conflict years. And Jesus is all through the story. It's a total fraud. Okay, so Russell's connected in some way to Mormonism. Isaac Russell, prominent early Mormon, they can have as many wives as they want. Captain Joseph H. Russell, yeah, and the person that sings in the band is the Killers. Yeah, that was my inspiration for a time. Yeah, he's a Mormon, and all of it, yeah, is the same joke, and they're linked. Samuel Russell is represented the Baring brothers. Yeah, that's the Baring Bank that was crashed, and the man was let off because he got ill with a cancer, and all of that is God's response.